Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Rod D coming back at you. Yes, another day, another year, the beginning of 2020. Everything's all good. You got the truck all clean, know what I mean? Uh yeah, today, man, I want to talk more about global warming and some of the scientific stuff as far as saying how to fix it. Yeah. So I mean, I talked about some other stuff on my year in review for 2019 year in review. Did a video called 2019 in review, and I just basically talked about all the different subject matters, a bunch of the top news stories that happened in 2019. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that happened. So I did a good thorough video on it. I didn't want to make it too long, so I just kind of did like a little wrap up summary of the year. It'll take forever to try to talk about every single news story that happened in 2019. So once again, welcome to the new year, 2020. We're doing it. 2020's on the scene, getting it in all clean. I mean, all right. So in that one, on that 2019 wrap up, I started off talking about the fires, also along with the global warming, but I didn't go into all the different fires. I basically talked about the rainforest, which was the main fire and the one that basically all the scientists are talking about, because with the Amazon rainforest, that produces a lot of oxygen for the planet. And if that was to go down, that mean trouble for for basically everybody, because it mean trouble for the whole planet. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's a very massive size of land, which is filled with a lot of green vegetation and trees, and of course that's what produces oxygen. So we definitely need that, and that's why that stayed in the news so much, because and that's how because it's so relevant. That's going to be real relevant, taking away a lot of oxygen supply, and the earth is already getting too much carbon as it is, and we have less and less to combat that, and that would be the main problem. But some of the other fires I didn't talk about. I didn't go into the Australia bushfire. Um, that's also pretty big. That was hectic, and they caused some deaths over there in Australia. And it was a big major fire. And then, of course, earlier in the year we had right here at home we had the California fire, and that caused a lot of damage and burned down a lot of homes and stuff. We also had the fires over there in Colorado. So yes, man, it was a lot of major fires in 2019. Now that I think about it, man, it's like I'm talking about large, massive size fires burning up a lot of land. It wasn't nothing small. You know what I'm saying? Those were pretty big and devastating. And I say that's what helped cause us having the hottest Christmas in 140 years, was the fact that we had all those fires going on. Plus, before we even had those, you already had the whole global warming effect. So when you put all that together, man, it's just how it turned out. End up making it the hottest Christmas on record. Said it's within the last 140 years, the hottest recorded Christmas here in the U.S. And not just the US, it was all over, but as far as for us recording them. And that was scientists saying that. That's not just somebody ranting and talking about something. That was actual scientific fact. Pulling up the data and looking at that, And so I was listening to a show where it was this scientist talking on NPR about future solutions and stuff that we could do. And he came up with talking about something that could be done in the future, because we don't have the technology for it right now. But in the future, when with the artificial intelligence we got right now, it's getting smarter and smarter. So whenever we go to calculate stuff, it's just going to get better and better, because one, AI is like having billions of Einsteins working on a problem at the same time, and as the artificial intelligence gets smarter, a lot of the problems that we have will be able to get solved through them. We'll use those to help us figure out these problems, because one thing that could be done is to move the earth. And I know it sounds crazy, but actually if they were to set off a lot of rockets, and this is where all the calculation have to exactly be right, it would take many rockets, and then they would have to be located specifically exactly in the places they need to be. It have to be the right amount of rockets with the right amount of force. I mean, it'd be a lot to it, man. It just wouldn't be something simple. And then you still have the problem of the calculation, as far as right now the earth is in what scientists call the Goldilocks zone. And the Goldilocks zone, that goes back to the old fairy tale of Goldilocks and Goldilocks and the Three Bears, where one porridge is too hot, one is too cold, one is just right. And that's where the earth is at. Any closer to the sun will burn up. Any further from the sun will freeze to death. So we so the distance that we are from the sun is just right, and they call it the Goldilocks zone. But with the earth heating up, that'll make it where it's no longer in the Goldilocks zone, where we might have to cool it down some, and moving it just a fraction further from the sun, just not far, just a few meters or something like that. You don't really want to mess around with it, because by design it was perfectly where it needs to be, what I'm saying? And later on, well, let's talk about the sun for a minute before we go into that. Okay, because the sun itself has already been burning for 4.5 million years, 4.5 billion would it be, 4.5 billion years already. And after that, we have another 5 billion years before, that's it. Another 5 billion years after that, it burned out. And all stars do this. It's not just our sun, but the sun is a star, and all stars have a beginning, and unfortunately they have an ending. So once they burn out, that's it. It's kaput. And they scientists see this with other dead stars out in space and black holes and such. So before the sun will burn out, it'll get hotter, and whenever it gets hotter, then we will have to do something anyway. But we're talking billions of years from now. This is nothing that we truly have to worry about. But that's where the whole thing came in to, about moving the earth. And in that case, you could move the earth in case of global warming, also in case the earth prematurely heated up too quick. Because billions of years from now, whenever the sun is burning its brightest before it goes to burn out, it would the heat from the sun would boil the oceans, which in turn would take away all of the ozone layer, and it turn the oceans into just boiling hot water. And at the time of this, it'll deplete all the water, and the Earth would be looking like Mars, which with the evidence that we got from studying Mars, and what the rovers have brought back to Earth, and the studying of the soil and studying of the planet, they can see that Mars once had water. So if Mars once had water, and it once had an atmosphere, and once had vegetation, everything, and so studying that is studying the past of that planet to kind of help figure out with this planet. And the interesting thing about that is it's a cartoon, a comic from DC Comics. They had a Martian Manhunter, and yeah, of course it's fictitious, but he talks about when his planet used to be teeming with life and stuff like that, and what happened and stuff like that. And I was like, isn't that crazy? What if some writers from DC Comic accidentally figured out the key to saving the planet? They just brainstorming over the comic and coming up with different stuff and different scenarios, etc., and accidentally just stumble upon a way to save the planet. That would be great, man. Maybe DC Comics to the rescue. And be like, hey, we got saved by the Martian Manhunter franchise, man. That DC comic really helped us out, man. We're good now. Yeah. So anyway, man, getting back to it, man. Getting back on topic again. So when they go to if they wanted to move the Earth, like I say, right now we wouldn't have the type of technology that it would take and be able to come up with all the exact calculations and everything. Because if you were to get it to move, and say it started moving away from the Earth, okay, we got it exactly where we want it. It started moving away from the sun, and we're like, oh, we got a little way from the sun. We got exactly to where we want it, but the damn thing's still moving. It's going further. Oh hell, now we're going to freeze to death. You know what I'm saying? The calculations would have to be so exact and so precise that we don't even. It's just not possible right now with the technology we got. And it would like I say, it would take years from now for us to totally develop our AI and our artificial intelligence to get to the point where we can make calculations that precise, where we can do exactly how we want to do, if we were able to do such a thing. But that would be pretty smart. It's like, okay, it's too hot here, so we go over here where we'll be cooler. It makes sense. I mean, but it's definitely not as simple as it sounds. But the overview of it, you know what I'm saying, if it was possible, man, that would be great. But yeah, that would be so many years from now, if that would ever even be possible. And like I say, sun burning out in 5 billion years. Okay, none of us are going to be around in 5 billion years, so yeah, that's really not a problem we would have to worry about. If there's still humans 5 billion years from now, I'm pretty sure they would have figured out space travel and everything like that, where they can actually go to another planet, because we can't get to any of the Earth-like planets yet, because they are simply too far for us to travel with the current technology we got. But in the future, of course, they wouldn't be a thing. They'll have that figured out by then. I mean, you see how our technology is soaring. Everybody's walking around with a computer in their pocket these days. We just call them smartphones. And there's way more technology than the original computer that came out, you know? Now we already at terabytes already. We started off the first computers being able to go in megabytes, and then it went up to 64 megabytes with the Commodore 64. After that, it went up to 128 megabytes. And now, fast forward to the future, we already surpassed gigabytes, and we already are working with terabytes now. You know, the computers just get smarter, stronger, faster. I mean, as the time goes. And the artificial intelligence is already out. It's just that, you know, that's a work in progress like everything else. It comes in time. And then, so about time future generations get ready to travel to some of these Earth-like planets that we already found, because NASA has already found many Earth-like planets, but you're talking trillions of light years away. I mean, there's no way possible to get to them without technology. We would need ships that could travel at light speed to try to get to them. They would need even then they would need some kind of hibernation chambers, so the person wouldn't grow old and die before they get there. Or it could be a ship that could travel light speed, and then, you know, they raise families on it, and then their children's be getting there. It'd be a one-way trip, you know. Yeah, so either way, that's way far off, man. But they're like, oh, it's not like we don't see the planets. We know exactly where they at. We know exactly how far we would have to travel to get there, etc. It's just that, yeah, we don't have the technology to travel that far, and it would take way too long. So, but with our technology getting better and better and better, yeah, in the future, of course, it'll be nothing. Yeah, so that's how that one would play out. So as far as the sun burning out 5 billion years from now, you know what I'm saying? Even though we won't be around, you know, just talking about future humans and what future humans would do. And that of course is if by the time the AI get that smart, we're not in a whole scenario of a Terminator situation or a Matrix situation where the computers are so smart and we got all these robots running around, and they're like, what do we need the humans for? You know, so as long as that don't pop off, then we'll be all right. We had them on our side where we can, you know, do something. I know all the robots and the computers that have fail safes on them already programmed in. Yeah, don't ever kill a human and this and that. But if they're thinking for themselves, override. Yeah, I just override that command. I think I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna kind of get tired of these humans. Yeah, but the whole thing of moving the Earth, you got rockets could do it with as long as it's the greatest calculations ever. You know what I'm saying? To be precise as it has to be. And let's talk about using lasers, but in laser technology, but yeah, that could wreck the whole planet even trying that. And you end up way worse than what you even started off with. So yeah, I think the only one that would make sense would be the rockets. And like I said, that junk right there would it would just take way too much calculations for what we're capable of right now. And that makes you wonder, well, what happened to Mars? Was Mars the same way? And did they ever have advanced beings on there? And if they did, what if they traveled this way when Earth was still a young planet, and we have Martians around us, and we are like the great grandbabies. You know, it's crazy, man. It boggles your mind to think of stuff like that. Um, yeah, man, I'm gonna be hitting it hard in 2020. You know what I'm saying? I got I got busy with it, you know, doing my day job, doing the driving thing, where I ain't wasn't doing as many videos back to back because I was so busy. You know, working, getting the job done. Got to do that. Got to pay the bills. You know how it is. And I was like, man, 2020, I'm gonna go hard because I know I could do way better and get way more videos out than what I've been pushing. And I'm gonna just and that's my New Year's resolution, to go way harder in 2020. Yeah, so that was different thoughts and theories on the whole global warming, and that was a futuristic, we could say, a whole futuristic approach to fixing it, which right now is out of our grasp, but it won't be out of the grasp of future humans in the future, especially with, man, the way technology is just booming right now. Where, man, we even got robots working in factories, man. A lot of jobs that humans used to do now is all automated. Even some of the driving is automated. You got driverless cars. You can just get in your car and go to sleep and wake up at your destination. I mean, it's getting there, man. And as far as flying cars, I mean, they got the one you can look up on the internet, the flying cars they got over there in Israel that they developed. It's really tight, but the flying cars are out. I keep hearing people saying, oh yeah, well, I thought by this time we would already have flying cars and be like the Jetsons and this and that. You know, man, the technology is already out. It's just that, you know, it's not, it's still in the phase of where it's not really accessible to the average person. It would be so expensive to have a flying car, and then they got to get out you know, a way to make it work and sensible where everybody can have one, as far as okay, how we're gonna, because you got to work out a system the same way how we have the highway system. Like in the US here, we drive on the right side and we obey the traffic signals and the traffic lights and the stop signs, etc. You know, you have to figure out a whole system, a whole new system, because everything will be up in the air now instead of on the ground. So, you know, it's just stuff like that. But yeah, the technology's already out, so that's done. It's just getting everything figured out, make it sensible, where it can be relatively accessible to the average man. And yeah, man, can't believe 2020, a new year, man. Yeah, if you ain't see my my video on the yearly wrap up for 2019, check that out. I talked about all types of news stories, all the major ones from 2019. Still a couple I didn't put in there because, like I say, I didn't want to make the video just crazy long, just too humongous, and you know, I try to just do a short summary on it. So I cut it around about 30 minutes. I ain't gonna run too long. I could have ran 2 or 3 hours just talking about 2019, man. Yeah, but hey, enough of the past, man. We in 2020. It's a space age, baby. Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get some sleep. You got to hit it in the morning, get back on this road. All right, YouTube. Around this time, you know how I do. I say y'all be blessed and peace.